Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
morning to you, one and all of you liberty lovers and you ecclesiastites out there. It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live from the Bunker Eye studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. That's right, it is Thursday, December the 15th in the year of our Lord, 2016, making it halfway through the month of December and putting us about 10 days until Christmas. Yeah, even though it's 10 days before Christmas. You ever have one of those mornings when it just seems like, I don't know, somebody's done one of those whammy thingies on you? You know, some sort of magic trick? Well, excuse me, maybe I shouldn't probably leave the studio or venture out today because, let's see, this morning, how did it start off? My cell phone is acting up, is on the fritz. The computer here, the main computer in the studio, was not turning on at first. And then when I tried to originally start the program, the software to Spreaker kept crashing. So, yeah. And my coffee maker, for some reason, I have it tuned every morning to turn on by itself, you know, the automatic timer. It didn't turn on. And it was still just waiting. And I checked it, still the same time. So the coffee maker didn't turn on. So I had to manually turn it on. Oh, my God, that's terrible. So, yeah, so we're, and I thought, you know what, this morning I'm just going to, because, all this kind of crap is going on, I'm just going to light a cigar first thing in the morning with my coffee. Then my cigar lighter wouldn't work. Now, but that was an easy fix. It was out of fluid. But it just so happens it all coalesced into this morning. So I'm glad that you are here. We will trudge along in the cold this morning. And I woke up this morning. It was it's warmed up to a balmy 22 degrees now. When I woke up this morning, it said 19 degrees. Now I don't know about you here in South Central New Hampshire for December. That's below normal. But I guess it's all that global warming. Yes, indeed. Anyway, we have a heavy, thick, high stack of paper this morning. The paper pile is huge. Unbelievable what has been transpiring over the past 24 hours 21 hours since we last were together. It is everything from Trump meeting with the techies to the lamestream media trying to CYA on this hacking stuff. Now we've got a very credible witness, I guess you could say, diplomat, who is telling us that he didn't get any of that WikiLeaks stuff from Russian hackers. It was delivered to him personally, hand in hand, in a D.C. park, in which then he disseminated and turned over much of the information over to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, and yeah. But then you get, we'll get into this too. You get NBC out there talking about, well, no, we got, there's proof that Putin had a direct hand in it. And then you read the story and you find that there really isn't any direct proof. And they give a lame reason for it. The lame reason is, well, Putin is mad at Hillary because back in 2011, Hillary said something, kind of mean about the Russian election and Putin being elected. Now, do they think Putin is as petty as Democrats in this country are? I don't think so. That is one lame excuse. One lame excuse. But be that as it may, we will talk about that. Plus, take your calls at 603-835-3226. That's 603-835-3226. But first of all, this sub-zero weather. I mean, this is. If you guys better bundle up out there, just let me tell you. You better bundle up. Because it's going to get colder. The Arctic air from Alaska is not only is it bearing down on the lower 48, but it's moving eastward, so it's moving across the country. And this is not the end of it. I mean, we're going to get hit again. In fact, this is from the Weather Underground, is reporting that it's going to be back-to-back Arctic blasts, and it is going to send the Midwest and Northeast into a deep freeze through the weekend. And we're going to see things we're going to see winter chills and cold in the teens and 20s, below zero in many places. This extreme cold is going to continue through the weekend as an even more frigid blast of Arctic air plunges into the central states on the heels of Winter Storm Decima. They are naming winter storms now. I almost forgot about that. So they're getting storm, and it's going to be bad. But I'm looking at this Arctic chill, current Arctic chill map, as they're calling it, and we've got anywhere, right now in the Montana area, state of Montana, minus 11. You got in the North Dakota, Minnesota, minus 27, northern Michigan, even down around Detroit. Northern Michigan is minus 17, but Detroit is minus 8. Chicago is looking at minus 9 degrees, and they're not expecting the highs in these places to get higher than the teens today. I mean, it's incredible. You go up into Maine, it's 10 above and 5 above. You go up into northern Michigan, up near Burlington, Vermont, that area, it's 6 above. Again, they're not expecting anything higher than the mid-20s today, and throughout the weekend. I mean, it's even so cold that the lows down in Texas. I mean, you're looking at Houston at 42 is a high. Albuquerque, New Mexico, 30. Even California is dipping into the 60s. It's amazing. I don't know where all this cold weather. Must be that global warming stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're all gonna get the big chill, and there's also some science stuff out there that NASA is warning again that Earth is due for an extinction level event, meaning some sort of asteroid or comet is going to strike the planet like it did. What was it? 60 million years ago? 68 million years ago? It supposedly killed off the dinosaurs. So we're due for another extinction level event, and we can't do anything about it. And look, a lot of people say, including myself, well, God pretty much said in the book of Revelation that civilization as we know it, this world is going to end by fire, a rain of fire. It isn't going to be flooding anymore. It's going to be fire from the sky. Well, that would explain it. A nice big asteroid or comet coming down, that'd be fire from the sky for sure. But so that's in the science stuff, but you also have something that's going on in Chicago. And this may be a good thing for Chicago, all this cold weather. Because last weekend they had cold weather and snow, and it cut their weekend shooting and homicide rate in half. Yeah, they were, it was still like 15 people got shot and 3 people died, but that was like half the weekend before. Well, it looks like they may be in for, a lot of people in Chicago may be thanking their lucky stars and their very lives on the cold weather. Because come this weekend, Chicago is looking at additional cold, sub-zero. The wind chill advisory for morning commute today, this is from the Chicago Tribune, until 10 a.m. It is going to be cold. The high that Chicago saw yesterday was only 22. It hit minus 12 in the Chicago area at the Aurora Airport Wednesday morning. And according to the National Weather Service, so the Tribune is reporting, it's going to be around the zeros, along with possible 7 inches of snow starting Friday into Saturday. So it looks like Chicago might, they might be able to avoid some homicides and some shooting. That's pretty sad to say, don't you think? You're depending on weather to keep people alive. Think about think about that for a second. Usually we warn people bad weather could mean death. Extreme weather. Hurricanes, tornadoes. Winter storms and bitter cold. That usually means people are going to die. By the way, I don't know the numbers this year so far, but it's rivaling, is it not? Natural disasters in this country. I don't think this year they've taken as many lives as criminals have taken in Chicago. Chicago is currently at 702, 703 homicides in 1 year. Yeah, their record is 704. And they've only got, 2-3 weekends left before the year is done. I'm thinking that at the rate they've been going, they'll break that. But they may not because of the bad weather, the cold. I don't know. Maybe criminals don't like cold, don't like going out in the cold. Maybe illegal Glocks don't work in the cold. They freeze up, possibly. I don't know how those things work. I mean, it's possible they could freeze up, isn't it? It's anyway. I know, and of course, there's probably some people out there who are, it's still pretty warm out, but 70 degrees would be warm for us, right? 60 degrees would be warm for those of us in New England right now. It'd be rather balmy, and we get out the shorts. Actually, people do that anyway. If you've ever walked around New England, say in November, December, and even March and April, you'll see nut jobs. They're wearing a hoodie, a sweat jacket, or a sweatshirt and shorts. I never could understand that. Wait, it's cold enough to wear a hoodie, a sweat jacket, or a sweat, a big fleecy sweatshirt or something, right? But it's warm enough to wear shorts? I never quite understood that. That is a terrible fashion statement, by the way. Sweatshirt and shorts just out in public, that just doesn't make it. I mean, I get it if you're a sports person and you're playing in a sport and you're warming up. We did that. We had the sport jackets for basketball. The gymnasium is warm as it is, but then you want to get the body warmed up during the pregame warm up, so you have those jackets, sports jackets on, those windbreakers, and then of course you're in shorts. Well, sometimes you have the pants too. I mean, you see the pros with the sweatpants, and they take the sweatpants off, but as the game starts. But that's for the sports field. That isn't for outside fashion, because to me it just looks foolish. Like, you're cold enough to wear a sweatshirt, but you're warm enough to wear shorts. And I know, but I've often said it. My legs don't get cold a lot, and they don't get hot, so I don't wear shorts a lot anyway. But I'll never understand that particular fashion statement. Going out in public like that is just kind of weird. It really is to me. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's somebody walking around downtown Concord or Manchester right now wearing shorts. Wouldn't surprise me in the least.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L-Rod, here on The Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0 Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Once upon a time, old Scrooge sat down before the fire.
Humbug.
His glance happened to rest upon a bell. With great astonishment, this bell began to swing, as did every bell in the house. Without a pause, Marley's ghost came on through the heavy door and passed into the room before his eyes.
Who are you? What do you want with me?
I am here to warn you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather not.
Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second the next night at the same hour. And the third upon the next night.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with?
To read A Christmas Carol and other books online, go to www.read.gov. Explore new worlds. Read. Yeah! Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
(603) 835-3226 is the call-in number. Good morning. Welcome back. Glad you are here. We have this this is now a good time. If you are into the stock market, or if you have mutual funds, or, maybe less so mutual funds, because you really can't direct the individual investments in mutual funds. But if you own stocks, or if you're into the stock market, well, first, now is probably a good time to, I guess everything's on the upswing, so maybe it's not the best time to buy stocks, but at this time of year, considering what's going on, you might want to consider investing in companies that make and distribute in cold weather gear and clothing. Companies like LL Bean and Oshkosh and REI and Eastern Mountain Sports. Those kind of guys. If they're on the stock market, they have stock out there. You might want to check into investing in it, because they'll probably do a booming business. They'll probably for the next. It looks like this cold kind of stuff is going to be with us all winter long. Now, I don't think the lower 48 are going to be experiencing what it's like to live in Alaska all winter long, but a good portion of the northern half of the country is going to be, as I've said on this program before, they're predicting as much in some parts of the country as much as 35 degrees below normal. And 35 degrees below normal in some areas of the country is below zero. How would you like to have that as your average during January and February? Below zero temperatures. You also better get your cars, batteries, and other things tuned up, because cold weather is nasty to internal combustion engines when it comes to vehicles. And it does a number on batteries as well. I may have to finally get a new battery for my vehicle. I can't complain. My car is 9 years old, and it has the original factory battery. And every time I go out there and check it, it says it's fine. And I go in and get it tested every year, and they tell me no, it's fine. So, but this year it might, as they say, shit the bed. But hopefully not, because I don't buy cheap stuff. So I don't go and buy those Die Hard specials or for $29.95 because they don't last. The last time I bought a battery without buying a car attached to it, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Ria Linda, that means when you buy a battery with a car attached to it, that means you're buying a new car. Because you can buy a car with a battery. Batteries come with the car, just so you know. But the last time I just bought a battery, I bought a regular battery for my vehicle. It cost me nearly $79. Well, because I didn't want a cheap battery. Because especially if you start getting down really cold, you got to go by those cold cranking amps, as they call it. I don't understand it. That type of terminology. But I do know that the more cold cranking amps you have, the colder it can get outside, and your car is still going to start because your battery is still going to work. So that's what you need. You need something with a lot of cold cranking amps on it, because it's when you're in cold weather. It doesn't matter so much if you live, in the south part where it doesn't get cold for long periods of time, but it gets cold for long periods of time up here. And you don't want a cheap, weak battery, because when you most need it, that's when it's going to die on you. And it's going to be at the worst possible time on the coldest day, so you're not going to feel like getting out there trying to jump start a vehicle, because it's and a lot of people use use battery heaters, or they use these trickle chargers they plug in at night. They do that a lot in Alaska, and they have heated garages. And when I say heated, they're not heating their car garage up to 68 degrees. No. They keep it up. They heat the garage to it's like 30. Can you imagine spending money to heat an enclosed space just to 30 or 35? That's insanity. But that's what this year and the end of El Nino is doing. It is bringing back winter with a vengeance. Now, I don't know about you, but 2 years ago, we had El Nino, and we still had winter with a vengeance up here in New England. We broke all kinds of cold and snow records. And God forbid that we go through that again this year. And I don't know if Boston can handle that kind of snowfall, because they could barely handle it 2 years ago when they got their record snowfall. It was just redonkulous, as they say in millennial speak. But we're constantly being told that we're in this global warming pattern, that the polar ice caps are melting, and polar bears are drowning. Yeah, somebody said drowning. That's why I'm repeating it. All that's a bunch of BS. None of that is happening, folks. Well, maybe it should, because if all that ice melts in Antarctica, maybe we'll actually get to find out if Atlantis actually was there. That buried civilization they say is down there under all that ice?
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something, Snowflake.
There's one thing I've always been fascinated with and amazed by. As cold as it gets, even up in Alaska, as cold as it gets, nature survives. I mean, all the animals out there, they seem to survive because they're still around come spring and summer, and they reproduce and have babies and they go on. And but what I find even more fascinating is because animals they can hunker down in groups and share body heat or go into a cave or a hole or something like that and heat it up with their body heat and insulate from the earth. But there are two living aspects I find amazing. One are the birds. Most birds don't go into holes. They're up in the trees or someplace, and trees themselves. I mean, as cold as it gets, like today, it's sunny, but it's cold and it's windy, and trees move, and yet the cold doesn't kill them because they come back and leaf out and grow in the spring. I find God is absolutely amazing when it comes to that stuff. This is a planet that is, people always say, well, you believe in God. Yeah, well, prove that there's a God. And I just look and say, look around. Seriously, just look around and tell me that there is no God or no creator. Put all this stuff together. Seriously. Really. Hey, folks, if you, it is that time of year when people tend to overspend. Happens every year. And most of us, we say that we're going to set a budget and not go a dime over it, and then we end up going way over it. I know I usually do. But if you need to pay off those, and a lot of us will pull out the good old credit card. And it's kind of painless at first until the bills start rolling in January and February. And then we look back and say, yeah, we try to convince ourselves, but it was worth it because, the gift giving that we gave to others made everybody else so happy. But we've got the financial mess that is going to take us the next 6 months at least to clear up. Some people actually go out and get loans. They get these personal loans that they pay back the entire year afterwards. Well, if that sounds like anything like you can cut that short in January and February by driving with Uber. Yes, believe it or not, Uber will help you pay off those Christmas and other holiday bill expenses. Those holiday parties can be expensive to throw too. I mean, there are people that spend hundreds of dollars just to get their friends drunk at their house. No joke. They do. They go all out. Well, they still got to pay that bill. So if that's you, you need some extra cash to pay off that holiday bill sooner. Then start driving with Uber. All you got to do is go to Uber, or just go to rodeckles.net/Uber, and you can get all the information, all the bonuses that may be available to you for signing up and starting to drive. And Uber has a program in some municipal areas where you don't even have to use your own car in order to drive. I know a lot of people say, well, geez, I don't want to beat up my car. Well, you don't even have to use your own car and still make a ton of cash, up to $1,000 a week or more part-time. If you need full-time income, you can make over $50,000 a year. Some people have reported earning over $100,000 a year driving with Uber. So go to rodeckles.net/Uber. Click on that button, and you will be eligible for any and all bonuses that are available in your area. Of course, some areas Uber's looking for more drivers in other areas, so bonuses may be bigger in your area. So in order for you to find out, you got to go over to rodeckles.net/Uber to find out. Earn that extra cash. We are now at that point in time. By the way, let me just say I have a major announcement involving the program, the show, coming up next week. You are not going to want to miss it. Yeah. No, and it has nothing to do with me stopping the show. The show is not going away. But it is a major announcement in how we do things here. And I think it's a good thing. And I think most of you, 99.9% are going to love it. And the 0.1% are a bunch of whiny, wimpy, crybaby, snowflake liberals that are just going to be sad as hell about this kind of news. So be here next week for the major announcement. Now on to the part of the program where we play some Christmas music for you. Yes, this is by John Liston, Listen. Yes, I know it's like you listen, but it's Liston is how it's pronounced, obviously. And it is his rendition of "Go Tell It on the Mountain," and it's a beautiful rendition, folks. It really is. So give a listen. "Go Tell It on the Mountain" by John Liston. Listen to listen.
Over the hills and everywhere. shepherds kept their watching, or silent flocks by night, all night. Behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Shine on me your light, and I will go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth, way up yonder, ring out the angels' chorus that hailed the Savior's birth. Oh, that is why I sing. Go tell it on the mountain, tell it everywhere, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, yeah, that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lonely manger, yeah, the humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation that blessed Christmas morn. It's time to get up and go. Tell it on the mountain, tell it, children, over the hills and everywhere. Come on, tell it on the mountain, tell 'em that Jesus the Christ is born. Tell 'em that the child is born. Tell 'em that he's the light, not just a baby born that night. It's time to rise up and tell it.
John Liston, go tell it on the mountain. Yes, indeed. Get your blood flowing, give you a little bit of dancing this morning. Warm me up if you're out there in the cold hinterland, like I am. Dance around in the studio here. Now on to some more serious aspects. The Trump meet with all the tech giants. Now, you got to... what is it like? I would not know what to do if I got in a room with a bunch of people that absolutely loathed me, and they loathed me so much that they did everything within their power to make sure that all sorts of negative stuff were spread about me. And some of these tech people, they're internet tech, so they can manipulate stuff like Google, Google searches. They can manipulate stuff with their algorithms to make me look bad, even worse than I possibly already am. And here's what Donald Trump did. He got in this room this big boardroom around this big giant board table with all of these people, most of whom absolutely hated him. And they showed it on a daily basis right up to the election. And he didn't yell at him. You kind of expected that maybe, and Jeff Bezos was one of those that kind of expected to be, get the smackdown like the press did. Remember when Trump really laid into the lamestream media? Well, Bezos kind of thought that's what was going to happen as well that day. But it didn't. It did. Trump was very cordial. He was very open. He was very generous. I mean, all the tech people that came out and spoke to the media afterwards, they all said the same thing. It was a good progressive meeting, and he may have even won some converts. Now, we're not going to say that he converted anybody to conservatism in that room, but I think he pretty much basically said, look, you guys are all of these have these wonderful liberal mindsets. And while you're doing that, all these other wonderful liberal countries and even this government wants to limit your reach, your business, your income. And yet these are the people that you're standing behind. And I think, he was very, well, I got a cut here of how the whole thing started out for the day for them yesterday. So give a listen to this.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. This is a truly amazing group of people. I won't tell you the hundreds of calls we've had asking to come to this meeting. And I will say Peter was sort of saying, no, that company's too small. And these are monster companies. But I want to start by thanking Peter because he saw something very early, maybe before we saw it. And, of course, he's known for that in a different way. But he's been so terrific and so outstanding, and he got just about the biggest applause at the Republican National Convention. He's ahead of the curve, and I want to thank him, and you have a very special guy. So I want to add that I'm here to help you folks do well, and you're doing well right now, and I'm very honored by the bounce. They're all talking about the bounce, so right now everybody in Israel has to like me at least a little bit, but we're going to try and have that bounce continue. And perhaps even more importantly, we want you to keep going with the incredible innovation. There's nobody like you in the world. There's nobody like the people in this room. And anything we can do to help this go along, and we're going to be there for you. And you'll call my people, you'll call me. It doesn't make any difference. We have no formal chain of command around here. I'm honored to have Gary, the president of Goldman Sachs, left Goldman Sachs to do this. And Wilbur, everybody knows Wilbur. They never call him Wilbur Ross on Wall Street. They just say, oh, it's Wilbur. And there's nobody like him. And we're going to do fair trade deals. We're going to make it a lot easier for you to trade across borders because a lot of restrictions, a lot of problems. But I think you'll see. And if you have any ideas on that, that would be great because there are a lot of border restrictions and a lot of border problems. You probably have less of a problem than some companies. Some companies have massive problems, but we're going to solve those problems.
And that was Trump talking, opening up the meeting to these wonderful tech giants who all wanted him to lose. Now, let's be honest. Do any of them think that there would have been such a meeting, such a gathering, if Hillary Clinton had won? I mean, let's be fair and let's be honest. Do you think Hillary Clinton would have had that? Absolutely not. There would not be any of this sort of look. If one thing that Trump is signaling to everyone out there is that he's going to be a president, a man of the people. And he will do anything that he can within his constitutional powers in order to help out the entire country. I mean, let's face it. This guy has got the mentality when everyone does better, everyone does better. Let me repeat that. Donald Trump has the mentality, like many of us conservatives believe, and I know we all say that Donald Trump is not a true conservative. He's a moderate. on many things, but he is physically conservative. You got to, if he's all those people in that room with him, they're all fiscal conservatives too, by the way. They may be socially liberal up the wazoo, but when it comes to their money and their companies earning money, they're fiscally conservative. You don't get to be a big corporation and as big as those guys sitting around around that table in that room by being a fiscally liberal. Oh no, they're fiscally conservative, and they will spend money in order to make a whole bunch of money. And I got some stuff on that too coming up, telling you about what some Google employees are saying. And we always think, yeah, it's kind of cool that they spend the money, but there's that Google expects returns on that money that they spend. And none of this is free, and they know it. But Trump is out there thinking like us conservatives, understanding that when we all do better, we all do better.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Once upon a time, old Scrooge sat down before the fire.
Humbug.
His glance happened to rest upon a bell. With great astonishment, this bell began to swing, as did every bell in the house. Without a pause, Marley's ghost came on through the heavy door and passed into the room before his eyes.
Who are you? What do you want with me?
I am here to warn you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather not.
Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second the next night at the same hour. And the third upon the next night.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with?
To read A Christmas Carol and other books online, go to www.read.gov. Explore new worlds. Read. Yeah! Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Six 603-835-3226 is the call-in number, should you wish to join. Add to anything that we're talking about this morning. One of the things that has come about is Trump is pledging to aid Silicon Valley, and not just California Silicon Valley, but the Silicon Valley here in New England, which is in Massachusetts, the Silicon Valley that is springing up in Texas. And there are smaller Silicon Valleys in other states like Florida and in, I do believe, Illinois, around Chicago. It just goes to show we have the talent that is currently not being utilized in this country is absolutely amazing. Now, we already know the talent that is being utilized. And, well, you've even got Bill Gates out there Bill Gates is a somewhat of a convert to Donald Trump, in saying that Donald Trump, he could be like a JFK, John F. Kennedy. And one of the things about John F. Kennedy, agree with his politics or not. By the way, John F. Kennedy would not be a liberal Democrat today. They wouldn't allow him in the party. But whether or not you agree with his politics or not, John F. Kennedy was an innovator, and he understood how to harness this country's assets, the people. And even though he was taken out by an assassin's bullet in 1963, we still got to the moon and reached his promise before the end of the 60s. We went to the moon. You couldn't have done that without harnessing the ability of and the mind capacity of the entire country. And this is what Trump wants to do with the tech industry and other industry as well. And he's telling them, look, you guys are having troubles, we know, in other countries, especially in the EU, where they want to slap, Google, and they want to do Facebook and all this kind of stuff. They want to slap you guys down. We're going to work with you to try to fix that. We want to fix it. Why? Why does he want to fix it? Well, because in the end, it means more jobs for Americans. It means these companies get to grow. And everybody, because more people are participating, that means more tax revenue for the government, lower deficits, less people on government assistance. So in other words, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Trump looks for a win-win type of thing, Everywhere you go, Trump is looking for a win-win type of situation. In fact, he's done so well that Google now is out there. This is from Reuters. Google extends conservative outreach as Trump calls his tech meeting. That's right. Alphabet Google is racing to hire more conservatives for its lobbying and policy arm. Well, Google is definitely not led by a conservative person, but they understand business, and they understand that the movement of this country is going conservative, and they don't want to be left behind. I mean, that's just that's what it is. Hold on, folks. I got more of this, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live once again From the Bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where it's cold out there and windy, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. Here it is Thursday, December the 15th in the year of our Lord 2015, meaning that it is time for Christmas. You're about 10 days out, 9 shopping days left. And you still have time to participate and donate to Toys for Tots, by the way. The Marine Corps program. It's a wonderful program. I highly recommend that people participate. It's a great way during the holidays to show that you really do care about other people, really, especially the kids who have no control over what's going on in their life. Toys for Tot is a great program. 99.9% of all donations get to the kiddies where it's intended. Seriously, it really does. Great organization. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. 603-835-3226. By the way, here's something for you folks out there that kind of love this person. The Rev Rod will be here next week for his, I guess it's going to be an annual thing, for his Christmas message. And he tells me that you're not going to want to miss it. It is going to be not fire and brimstone, but it'll fire you up going into Christmas holiday. So be here next week for that as well as a major announcement that we've got. We've got a lot of stuff going on at the end of the year. I know the holidays are here, and there's a lot going on in your life with your family and in Christmas and Hanukkah and all that stuff, but you don't want to miss anything because that's exactly when, our government likes to stick it to us is because we're not paying attention. But I'm here paying attention for you until these idiots and nut jobs go on their holiday break. Remember, this is how we got Obamacare passed. Everybody was going home. Nobody was paying attention. And in the dead of night, during the Christmas, what should have been a Christmas break, they gave it to us. That was not a very nice gift. But this year we're keeping a closer eye on them. So you're going to want to stick around and give a listen all next week. Got some special stuff coming up next week as well. So Alphabet Corp, which is Google's parent now, the holding company Alphabet. So in the week since the November 8th election, Google has ramped up its efforts to hire Republican lobbying firms and in-house lobbyists to change the composition of its Washington office, according to 3 lobbyists with knowledge of the matter. And Google is also pledging to hire more conservative-leaning people. Now, I don't know, if you're a conservative, if you're a diehard conservative and you're in the tech industry and you decide to go to work for Google, you're going into the hornet's nest. And understand that a lot of companies, and this is like unions too, the company heads may be very liberal, and they put forth this very liberal atmosphere, and they make it very easy for liberals who work for them to express their liberal views and ideas. But understand, in many companies, the majority of the rank and file is not liberal and does not go along with the company leadership, which is really kind of odd. And the same with the unions will back Democrat candidate after Democrat candidate, but the union rank and file does not. And this is one of the things that Trump is trying to change, and he's done a good job so far. He hasn't even taken the oath of office yet, and this guy is acting more presidential and doing more for the people of this country, than anybody that I can remember having done so during this pre-inauguration period. And they still want to try to keep him from taking the oath of office. I mean, it's amazing. I put out there I tweeted something yesterday about, is anybody else out there scratching their heads as to why liberals hate Donald Trump and are mad at Donald Trump so much for saving jobs and creating jobs, and he hasn't even taken the oath of office yet? What is so bad about that? What is so bad about saving some 1,100 jobs at Carrier, in Indiana? What is so bad about, IBM pledging that under a Trump presidency that they're going to be able to hire in another 25,000 employees, as well as put another $1 billion into employee training and development. What is so bad about that? Why are liberals so mad about that? They're upset. Every time Trump and he's meeting he met with the tech people yesterday and made some converts. You could see that. You heard it. And they're going to be ticked off. They are going to just go out of their minds at some of the most liberal people that they thought they had in their back pockets. First of all, they went and sat down and spoke with him. And two, most of them came out and spoke very highly and favorably of Trump. That doesn't mean that they all converted and became conservative overnight. But let me tell you, they even got Kanye West, for crying out loud. He's even got Kanye West. And these people on the left, they're beside themselves. They are totally flipping out. And as the day gets closer to January 20th, the nuttier and nuttier and the nuttier they get. I mean, you got Joy Behar on the View, which is, so it should call them a bunch of blind. It should be the blind, but that would probably be very insulting to people who really are blind. But you got Joy Behar on the View talking about all the constitutionally, Donald Trump is unconstitutional by owning. Basically, she's saying because he owns property in other countries, he's not constitutionally eligible to be president. Where in the Constitution does it say the president cannot own property anywhere else but the United States? It doesn't. It doesn't say that. But of course, Joy Behar, she gets the amen from Whoopi Goldberg. Basically, I mean, I'm so disappointed in the. This is why these people should just shut up and let the script writers write all their dialogue, because when they get off on their own or when they're off script, they're loony. You know what the problem is? The problem is that those people out there in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry as a whole, they don't hang around with anybody except other entertainment industry people. So they all gather around. They go to the parties and they go to the outings and they go to the events and the award shows, and they're all hanging out with their old buddies constantly. They're not exposing themselves to other people. They especially, it's amazing how most of these stars that we have today, they weren't born into stardom. In other words, their parents weren't stars, so they didn't grow up in it. They came from everyday places around the country, East Coast, West Coast, and everything in between. And yet, you can see it sometimes. They have these little clickbait things where they show pictures of your favorite stars in high school or before they became famous types of things. And they were just average, ordinary-looking people. They weren't glamorous-looking. They weren't all made up. They didn't have the professional makeup artists and hairstylists and all that kind of stuff, spending all that kind of money to make them look better. They looked normal like the rest of us. They acted normal like the rest of us. They went to a high school normal like the rest of us. They were normal people. They didn't have those views that they have today. But they got indoctrinated when they went to Hollywood or New York City, for Broadway, or Chicago for Second City. And they got indoctrinated and they invited into this group that is so closed off from the rest of us. Most stars do not hang around with other people. They don't hang around with their old high school buddies. They don't hang around with their fans. There's this wall that gets built up, and they surround themselves with other people in the industry because, hey, that's how you get ahead, is by hanging out with other people in the industry that can help your career go forward. And they talk with each other, and then they start saying, yeah, I believe this and blah, this liberal thing and this liberal thing. And then somebody else says, yeah, you're right. So they reinforce this stuff. And so that when they actually get on places like The View, that stuff comes out because they forget they're not talking to their closed circle of a group of friends. And they sound very smart and erudite when they're talking to another inside liberal friend, but when the rest of us hear it, when the general population hear it, we like to think and we look at them and say, what the hell are they talking about? Where do they get this nonsense? Well, they get this nonsense simply because they surround themselves and they put themselves in this bubble. The same damn bubble that happens in Washington, D.C. The same bubble that encapsulates all the wonderful politicians that we send to D.C. and all of the government employees that are in and around the D.C. area. They're all in this same bubble. They don't get out and mingle and talk and get to know the rest of America. They don't hang out with their old high school buddies anymore. They don't hang out with their college buddies anymore unless their college buddy is working with them. They're in this bubble. And so when they speak to the rest of us who are outside of the bubble, which is the vast majority of us, this is a country of 320 million people. Well, let's just say 290 to 300 million of us are not within any of these liberal bubbles. We look at these people when they come out and talk and think, where the hell are they getting this stuff from? Because it's absolutely ludicrous. So I ask the question, why is it that they hate Trump for doing so much good for the rest of America? Because they're trapped in this bubble, and they simply think that no matter what a Republican does, simply because he's a Republican, it's going to be bad for them. Not us, the 300 million, but bad for them, the 20 million stuck in the bubble. That's who it's bad for. So they say. But they forget that, if all of my fans actually have jobs and make more money, then they can buy more of my crap. And they don't think that way because they're already insulated and they already made their money. So they think that they're God's gifts on earth. It's absolutely amazing how arrogant a lot of these stars are. Look, all you've done for me lately is entertain me. And now, most of you are just pissing me off, so I can't even be entertained by you anymore. You want to change the status of a star? Stop watching their TV series, their TV shows, or their movies. Stop buying their crap. That'll change how they view things. Well, some of them are so entrenched that they'll just start lashing out at you and threaten to leave the country. So far, I don't think any of them who threatened to move have moved. Probably because they're all hoping and believing that they can prevent him from being inaugurated on January 20th. They've been trying all kinds. I mean, I've never seen. They complained about George W. Bush in 2000 in the lawsuits and stuff out of Florida. What are they doing now? People are a bunch of hypocrites. You even got Michael Moore saying we can't. You got Will Wheaton out there saying we can't allow Donald Trump to be inaugurated. Well, who the hell does he think he is, not allowing the rest of us who voted for him to get the person in office that we voted for? Who won? A bunch of arrogant a-holes. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L-Rod, here on The Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Once upon a time, old Scrooge sat down before the fire.
Humbug.
His glance happened to rest upon a bell. With great astonishment, this bell began to swing, as did every bell in the house. Without a pause, Marley's ghost came on through the heavy door and passed into the room before his eyes.
Who are you? What do you want with me?
I am here to warn you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather not.
Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second the next night at the same hour. And the third upon the next night.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with?
To read A Christmas Carol and other books online, go to www.read.gov. Explore new worlds. Read. Yeah! Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
None of them have still bothered to move yet, by the way. Still waiting for them, just one of them to move. Now, we should also, make sure that, while we're making sure of this one, I don't see any of the Canadian stars here in this country moving back to Canada. It'd be really easy for them. They don't have to check anything out. They just move back. So we got all these Canadian stars that are liberal, that are upset that Trump won. I don't see them moving back to their home country. Why is that? Okay, let's just say, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It does take some time to move. It takes some planning. It takes, you got to buy a house and that kind of thing, or you got to rent an apartment or something in the place that you're going to be at. And if you go to a different country, there's a little bit more logistical stuff involved. Got it. Because you're not a citizen of that particular country. That if you're moving out of this country, you're most likely not going to be a citizen of Canada or Australia or Ecuador, or wherever they promise to move to. So there's other logistics involved in that, and there's the diplomatic stuff. You got to have the visa and all that kind of stuff. So we get that. But I don't see any of them making the effort to start that process. But if you're Canadian, already a Canadian citizen, you don't have anything of that to worry about. You just, with the money that some of these stars have, it doesn't even take much to find a place you want. You just call up a realtor and say, this is what I want. It's got to look like this, this, and this. And the realtor goes out and shows you all this. You don't even have to leave your house. They show you all the pictures in even video. Via the internet, they'll do a virtual walkthrough with you holding a camera. You can see everything. That's how stars usually buy their houses. They don't go in and view the place themselves. They usually have these wonderful real estate agents that know their style and their taste, and they buy it sight unseen pretty much. And that doesn't take very long. I don't see any Canadian moving back. Have you seen any Canadian star here in the U.S. moving back to Canada? No, I wonder why that is. If Canada is such a utopia, what are they doing here in the first place? If they're already a star, they can live in Toronto and still make movies and be seen and all that kind of stuff in Hollywood. There's a lot of Hollywood stars that don't live in Hollywood anymore, or New York. A few of them live in Vermont and Connecticut and Massachusetts. And for a while there, a bunch of them were moving to Montana. And then they realized that they couldn't change the politics in Montana. Montana's still a crazy spot. But I don't see any of them moving like they promised. Did they actually think that if they threatened to leave this country, that all of their supporters would say, oh, no, we can't have them leave. We're going to vote for Clinton? I guarantee you that's what they actually thought. That's what they actually believe, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So they're not as important as they like to think that they are. I mean, it's unbelievable what the left will do or say. The truth has no bearing. It's all about their feelings. And their ignorance is on full display. Especially when you get somebody on national TV with a national audience that says, the Constitution says that the President of the United States can't own property in foreign countries. Constitution doesn't say that. Sure, they can't have foreign interest. In other words, they can't be a foreign person, foreign-born person. That's what the whole natural-born citizen issue is all about. You can't have divided loyalties. You can't have perceived divided loyalties. I don't think there's any doubt that Trump is all about America first. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The man hasn't even taken the oath yet, and he's already done more for the American people, for this country, than Obama has done the past 8 years. That's not even up for debate or argument. Question is he going to be able to continue this when he does take the oath, or will Ryan and McConnell block him? Well, they do so at their own peril. Because the American people have pretty much said, look, we have given the reins all over this country to Republican leadership. You guys better start doing something that we want for a change. Or there's going to be some hell to pay. Lots of hell to play, or to pay. I know, folks. I don't want to take away from anybody's euphoric feeling right now, but once the euphoria is over, and Trump is not going to have a honeymoon period like most presidents usually get to enjoy. He's not. His first 100 days are going to be hell, and it's going to be hell for all of us, not just him. But I firmly believe that this is a guy he's really up for the task, because he's already doing it. And they're already scrambling, trying to figure out how to block him and stop him. And that's the bad part.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something, Snowflake.
That's the number to call should you wish to join me here live here on the Rod Eccles Show. Hey, if you can't get enough of yours truly, me, then might I suggest that you read some of the things that I say. Yes, you heard that right. Because on this program I disseminate wisdom and logic on a daily basis. But you can get some of that wisdom and logic in a written format that you can pass out to your friends and relatives, especially those liberal snowflakes, just by getting the short book, the quick read book, the book of Ecclesiastes. Yes, indeed. I think it's a wonderful book. It was on Amazon's, it was a top pick in Amazon's quick read list when it first came out. And you can still get it. And it costs less than a cup of coffee. And so that means basically you can, round out your gift-giving list for less than 10 or 20 bucks by giving it to everybody that you know in your inner circle that even if they are a conservative, they'll benefit tremendously from this. But if they're a liberal, they'll definitely benefit from it. So don't buy them a cup of coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or even any of those other frou-frou coffee houses. Get them instead the book of Ecclesiastes. And then, once you do that, you're going to want to point them to the website, rodeccles.net, where you as well can find out all about the social media pages that I have and connect with me on those social media outlets. It's a lot of fun. One that isn't on there yet is by Gab. Now I am on Gab, gab.ai. It's Elrod. That's how you find me over there, Rod Eccles or Elrod. Pretty simple. You should go over to Gab. If you are sick and tired of Twitter, Gab is definitely the alternative, and it's growing by leaps and bounds on a daily basis. It's ridiculous how fast it's growing. But they're limited by their growth is limited simply because of their financial and tech limitations that they're addressing on a daily basis. And when you get something that just blows up like they are, well, you're going to run into growing pains. That means you're doing something right. And they're keeping everything up and running and active. So go over to Gab. Check me out on Gab, because some stuff that I post on Gab is totally different from what you're going to get on Twitter. But if you want to stay on Twitter, that's fine too. Pick me up and follow me over on Twitter. Again, it's just Rod Eccles. Make it pretty simple. Now we are at that point where we play another wonderful Christmas song from a very talented independent artist. When I say independent artist, as far as I know, all these people that have submitted music to me are not signed to a major label. They're independent. And this person, her name is I've been practicing her name too. Zamudio. Zamudio. L is E-L-L-E. Zamudio. And she's at lzamudio.com, and her rendition of What Child Is This?
What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthem sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh. Come, peasant king, to own him, the King of kings. Salvation brings. Let loving hearts enthrone him. Raise, raise a song on high. The Virgin sings her lullaby. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary. Jesus. What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthem sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds
Does that girl have a set of pipes or what? I mean, when I first heard this, I went, at first I was listening to it, and I heard the intro, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, this may not end well. But then she started singing, and she hit the first powerful chorus note, and I went, wow, yeah, we got to play this one. I moved it up because I wanted to wait until next week to play this, but I figured, well, we better get this one now. And then we'll probably replay it again next week on the last show of the year. But that was El Zamudio, Zamudio. What child is this? Pick her up at elzamudio.com. Yeah, set of pipes there. Talent everywhere in this country. Talent. Any case, let's go to the phones and pick up a caller. 850, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got?
And whenever the Hollywood crowd congregates for their nightlife and so on and so forth, you have people scouting what they're doing, and we should just fill the streets with, regular, everyday Americans.
Well, yeah, because they're out there talking about, disrupting the inauguration and taking. The problem is that conservatives, we've never taken to the streets like that. We've always been, these fair-minded people, that respect other people's thoughts, even if they don't agree with ours. And but you're right. One of the things that they might find this time around is, they might try to run some interference on inauguration. It's not going to work, but you're going to find people that are just going to stand out there and be protectors of the country. By doing this, by getting in the way of these idiots now who are going to want to disrupt and destroy everything. And I think conservatives have just about had enough of it. And unfortunately, it's going to get dangerous. It's going to get dangerous pretty fast.
Well, they used the SEIU tactics, and I said that they were going to use the United Mine Workers tactics of Richard Crumpton, the bullet to the back of the head from a high-powered rifle. And, I don't doubt that that's in the works. You do see the people that were involved in some actions against Hillary who were murdered during the last stages of the campaign in the last few months. And they're not above taking people out. And so, America needs to be wide awake and looking at this as if anything can happen, and they should be prepared to act, not prepare for anarchy or anything like that, but actually prepared to act to protect the Constitution.
And I think what you'll find is a lot of people they're starting to wake up to this. I think you're right, and they're starting to learn more about how their country is supposed to work. And this is one of the reasons why you have so many states that are looking at these becoming a right-to-work state, not being forced to join these unions and having their union dues work against them. And it's also a lot of people are upset with government workers. Some of them have this 4-day work week and these tremendous benefits and make six figures and all that kind of stuff, while the rest of America suffers tremendously. And I think we saw it at first. We saw Americans wake up with the Tea Party movement. And the one thing that the liberals think is happening is they thought because you don't see all these Tea Party events anymore that movement has died. Well, no. See, there's a difference. The Tea Party is not a political party. They took that movement that was the Tea Party movement that got started as a grassroots thing, and they started electing conservatives left and right, at least Republicans left. I mean, this is why the Democrats are in the severe minority of political power all across this country right now. The Tea Party didn't go away. The Tea Party grew and went back to where it was supposed to be, in the hands of the people.
The Tea Party is actually the movement that Donald Trump is riding. When he says he's a movement, yes, he is a movement. And but the Tea Party is actually the folks who have been disenfranchised and wouldn't take any more of it.
Yeah, but that's how it got started. You're absolutely right. But it's morphed into something that is no longer what you can actually see, because they don't do all these big events anymore. It has gone back to where it was supposed to be, into the hands of the general public, the people. And they have taken that movement upon themselves, and they said, no more, enough is enough. And they keep voting that way, saying enough is enough. And we have all these wonderful people in Washington and in some of the state capitals that don't seem to get that message. I mean, Nancy Pelosi out there was just saying, last week, she doesn't think that people don't like the Democrat message. I mean, are you kidding me? You got shellacked in 3 out of the last 4 elections, and you're telling me that you don't think that the people don't like your policies?
Well, it's impossible for someone like Nancy Pelosi to change. And it's the same thing with Barack Obama. We're dealing with ideologues over there who are hiding in sheep's clothing, and they are the communists. There's no doubt about it. Nancy Pelosi said, well, now that we have Obamacare and everything, you can take up knitting and macrame or whatever it is, She is, and her child, Christine, film producer, she is just absolutely unhinged and trying to galvanize all the support she can across America.
Yeah, this is absolutely ludicrous and nut jobbery at its, I don't know, is it showcasing them at their best or their worst? This whole notion about trying to steal the election via the Electoral College and misinterpreting everything that Hamilton said about the Electoral College and the reason for it. This is not one of those times when the Electoral College should be looking for somebody other than Trump or Hillary, because they're not going to choose Hillary. And what's going to happen is it's going to get into the hands of the House, and the House is obviously, if they want to keep their jobs in 2 years, they're going to put in place they're going to elect the person that the people elected and won the Electoral College, and that would be Trump. They can't put anybody else in place, because if they put anybody else up there, they're not going to choose Hillary. If they put anybody else up there, you want to talk about being impotent from day one, that is going to be whoever they choose besides Trump.
There's no going against Trump, because it is a move. And, when they come out there and they start demonstrating what they're doing, that is the beginnings of a revolution. They want to create a revolt. And the majority of Americans absolutely back Trump. The world is crying for the America that they know and love, not the America that Barack Obama wanted to make us into. When he comes out with his Christmas message, it's all about Barack Obama, and it has nothing to do with Christmas. And these academics and communists who have subverted our education system must be made to pay. I just read, this is off the subject here, Rod, but there was a 73-year-old guy out in California who was swatted by his neighbors, and he had dementia, and the cop killed him. And I can't understand why a cop would shoot a 73-year-old man to death. I can't fathom that. So we have problems across our society that are really vast, and there's a disconnect. If life and Americans have rights that supersede anything on this earth, and we should grasp them here in this Christmas season.
Yeah, is that you? No, never mind. They're just not getting this whole. Well, the one thing that I have learned that you can throw these people with these liberal mentalities out of office. You can reduce their power down to zero, like they've done in much of Pennsylvania, in the rural areas of Pennsylvania, and they will still say the reason why they lost is not because of their policies, is because they didn't get their message out, and that the press, the media, the lamestream media, who is nothing more than the second wing of the Democrat Party, didn't get their message out for them. They will not blame themselves. They never will. You're absolutely right. They will never change. Now, the rank and file can see that, the everyday Joan and Jane liberal, they can change. But the people that keep getting into power, they'll never change.
Never.
And those are the people that we got to look out for constantly.
That's the horse they rode there, and they will never get off of it. They'll never switch horses in midstream.
They certainly won't. Well, thank you so much for your call. I got to run and take this break, my friend. It's always good to talk to you. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Yes, God bless you, Rod.
And folks, by the way, he mentioned something about, going to war. Well, I got something about that for you, so hang on, folks.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Once upon a time, old Scrooge sat down before the fire.
Humbug.
His glance happened to rest upon a bell. With great astonishment, this bell began to swing, as did every bell in the house. Without a pause, Marley's ghost came on through the heavy door and passed into the room before his eyes.
Who are you? What do you want with me?
I am here to warn you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather not.
Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second the next night at the same hour. And the third upon the next night.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with?
To read A Christmas Carol and other books online, go to www.read.gov. Explore new worlds. Read.
Yeah!
Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
There is this movement going all across the globe. See, this is where Nancy Pelosi isn't quite getting it yet. But there is this movement going across Western Europe. Yesterday I told you about the story, or Tuesday I told you about the story about Sweden telling their municipalities to prepare for war. Not that war was actually coming, but to prepare for war, and that all of those wonderful liberal municipality leaders, mayors and such, they didn't know exactly what that meant. because God forbid, that they actually open their eyes to see what's going on around them. But something is happening in Italy. And here is from express.co.uk. And the title is Rome on Verge of War Between Migrants, read that as refugees and illegals, and the poor Italians. And that's what the mayor of Rome, the capital city of Rome, is warning. Virginia Raggi told an immigration summit of European city leaders, mayors, that they need to be first to welcome refugees with warmth, shelter, and accommodation. She was speaking just days after a Moroccan family was prevented from moving into a council flat given to them by the authorities after neighbors shouted, "We don't want these blanks here." Now, Italy has seen the largest increase of migrant arrivals to Europe this year after the European Union made a deal with Turkey, which meant migrants headed to Italy instead of Greece. And that means that the Italians are now having to deal with these people firsthand. And the protests are erupting all over the streets of Rome. Rome's economy, or Italy's economy, is not the greatest. It's still on shaky ground. And yet the Roman government is letting all these people in that's putting pressure on the economy even more. And the Roman citizens, the Italian citizens, just like the Swedish, they've had enough. Just like the rank and file French, they've had enough. Just like the Germans, who some are actually leaving Germany. Now, hey, Joy, there are Germans leaving Germany. Why can't you leave the USA? These people have had enough. They're not against immigration for immigration's sake. They're just not for being inundated and taken over by a bunch of people who do not want to assimilate into their culture. They want to take over their culture and definitely kill those who will not convert to the incoming migrant culture. They can never win.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Hour number 3 here in this December the 15th in the year of our Lord 2016, which means it is right smack in the middle of the Christmas season. I didn't check the when does I feel bad not paying attention. Happy Hanukkah to all of my Christian and Jewish friends out there. Yes, we're also coming up on the Hanukkah season as well. I didn't get any Hanukkah songs this year from people that I asked to send me Christmas songs. I didn't get any Hanukkah songs. I asked for Hanukkah songs too. Didn't get any of those. Maybe next year we'll get some Hanukkah songs. If you know anybody who sings Hanukkah songs, let me know, and we'll get them next year as well. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number as we continue to broadcast here from the bunkerized studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. And, America has gotten a great Christmas gift this year. They've given it to themselves. And the Democrats, the liberals especially, they want to be Grinches and steal it from you. They really do. They don't like to be called Grinches, but they are. They're hypocritical. They're liars. And they're just very destructive. Hate to say it, but they are. And what they lie about, well, just about everything. NBC is one of the big ones out there. They've been perpetrators of fake news in the past, even up through this election season with some of their look. You can say that they're phony polls, and they'll say that they were legitimate polls, and in their minds they were legit. But a lot of times when you look at a lot of these polls, not just polls that NBC either sponsored or did or reported on, but if you look at all these polls that were out there, and you started to look at the demographics, you will see that in a lot of these polls, especially the polls that showed Clinton way out ahead of Trump, they oversampled Democrats, undersampled Republicans. So that gave them what they were looking for. And that gave them that euphoric feeling and saying, yeah, we're going to win. No big deal, man. This is easy. And they got it wrong. And they're asking themselves, well, how did we get it wrong? Well, you got it wrong because of the way you did it. The way you reported it. You reported it, and it's by your definition of what fake news is, that's what that was. It was fake news. You created it somehow. It wasn't factual. The facts in the end did not bear out what you were saying. So therefore, by your definition, it has to be fake news. Well, NBC still hasn't learned its lesson. It's out there, and they've got this report this morning that they're reporting that Putin personally involved in U.S. elections hack. And I'm thinking, they got evidence of this now? They know for a fact that inside the Kremlin, inside the presidential suite of offices, that they got information out of there from some source that is going to roll over on Putin and spill the beans. As it will, do they have beans in Russia? I don't. What do they use in Russia instead? I know they have a lot of potato vodka. Did I just say potato? I did. I said potato. They have a lot of potato vodka. Where am I from? The Midwest? Isn't that how they pronounce potato in the Midwest? Potato. They say that in the South too, I think. No, it's not potato. It's potato. And it doesn't have an E at the end, by the way. I know a lot of people remember that from Dan Quell spelling potato with an E. The T-O-E instead of T-O at the end. It's funny just the way your mind works and what you can remember when you say certain things. But you would think the left would be, I don't know, maybe this whole notion that has come across ever since I heard Michael Savage say it. Yeah, and I will always credit him with it because he's the first person I've heard say this. And I utilize this often because it perfectly describes them. When it comes to liberals, it perfectly describes them. And Michael Savage has always said that liberalism is a mental disorder. And they must be brain damaged somehow if they don't remember any of this stuff and how it relates to them. Has anybody ever noticed that? They have fantastic memories when it comes to whatever a Republican or a conservative has said or done in the past. They can go back and they can find it. They can find everything that Donald Trump has said since 1983. If he said one little thing about a gay employee or somebody on the street that's gay that can even be taken out of context and make it sound, as he's unaccepting of gays, they will remember it and find it and play it for you. But when it comes to their own mistakes, their own missteps, their own stupidity, they can't remember any of that. They can't even remember what happened, just yesterday when, here's a report. Putin hacked all these emails and then turned them over to WikiLeaks. And you got a person who is a go-between between Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and the informant. And the person who goes in between them says, I know who the informant is. He's not a Russian. He was a Democrat insider. So what happened? Did Putin give the information to this Democrat? He found a Democrat insider that was mad at Hillary, and he was able to find a person like that to give the information to. And the reason that they're using the excuse that they're giving for Putin doing this is that it's a vendetta against Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton said something negative about the Russian election back in 2011. Now, I don't know about you, but that just does not sound like Putin. He doesn't play petty politics that way. Maybe he does inside Russia, but on the international stage, he does not. He doesn't do this petty. That's a Democrat thing. Think about that. That's not a Russian thing. That's not a Putin thing. That's a liberal Democrat thing because they're petty. Remember what I always say to you. When a liberal is pointing their finger at you, accusing you of something, they've got three fingers pointing back at them, and that means that they're only pointing and being an accuser of you because that's exactly what they're doing, and they're trying to cover it up. So there was this vendetta against Hillary, and it developed into an effort to show corruption in U.S. politics and to split off key American allies by creating an image that other countries couldn't depend on the U.S. or to be credible as a global leader anymore. Now, according to NBC, the latest intel goes further than information the United States relied upon in October when all 17 intelligence agencies signed on to the statement. Now, we later came to find out that that isn't true either, but yet they're still spreading that. What do we got now? We've got some intelligence agencies, including the FBI, that says, no, the CIA's got it wrong. What the hell are they talking about? There's no evidence of Russian fingerprints on any of this stuff. And yet NBC is reporting, well, all 17 intelligence agencies are saying that he did. But we were just told earlier this week, no, they're not saying that. Again, liberal NBC has a short memory when it comes to their own stuff. When somebody says that they're wrong, they don't remember it. They'll go out the very next day. See, this is the part where I always say a lot of this stuff is pre-written and they're just waiting for the right time to use it. Don't doubt me on this, folks. Just like Obamacare was already pre-written. The basics of Obamacare was pre-written. But, they think that we'd forgotten about Hillary Care. They think we had forgotten about LBJ care. Did you know this? That's why Ronald Reagan was talking about one way that the liberal mantra will get into the general population is through health care. He said that back in the 60s. So there was a movement by LBJ who wanted to do something similar to this. They think that we've all forgotten. Because evidently they've forgotten. Because nobody wanted Hillary care, so they forgot about it. Oh, I'll just forget it. I mean, it's different now. It's the same damn thing. So a lot of these stories, believe it or not, are already pre-written. They just got to wait to fill in the appropriate date-appropriate things when they go to actually publish them. All this stuff is, they already had these stories printed up that, Putin is it, Putin did it. So they wrote these stories up. Now they were just waiting to make sure they put in the stuff that's time-appropriate. But evidently they forget a lot. That just earlier this week, not all 17 agencies agree that Putin is involved or the Russians were involved in general. But the story was already written. Don't doubt me. They have more stories that are already written that they will release as we get, and you'll see more and more of them as we get closer to January 20th. All of this is done to try to delegitimize Donald Trump as president. It's not going to work. Every time they try something lately, it backfires on them. They were all upset about Trump saying that, that he wouldn't immediately say that, if it showed on election day that Hillary Clinton won, would he concede? And he was holding back on that. And they were, Hillary and Obama jumped all over him for that. And what are they doing right now? Well, I guess they forgot. Guess they forgot. Because all of this stuff, folks, is already written. None of this is new. None of this is accurate, but it doesn't matter. Hey, you disseminate fake news? No big deal. We'll just blame somebody else for it. We'll forget that Hillary and Barack jumped all over Donald for not acquiescing to the question of, will you concede right away? I mean, they were out there saying literally, that's a danger to our democracy. If he doesn't accept the will and vote of the people, that's a danger to our democracy. How dare he? And yet, what did they do right after the election up until even today? They're refusing to accept the vote. I guess they just forgot that they were against all of that before.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L-Rod, here on The Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Once upon a time, old Scrooge sat down before the fire.
Humbug.
His glance happened to rest upon a bell. With great astonishment, this bell began to swing, as did every bell in the house. Without a pause, Marley's ghost came on through the heavy door and passed into the room before his eyes.
Who are you? What do you want with me?
I am here to warn you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather not.
Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second the next night at the same hour. And the third upon the next night.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with?
To read A Christmas Carol and other books online, go to www.read.gov. Explore new worlds. Read. Yeah! Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Liberals especially have very short memories. Now, let me be clear. Obviously, not all Democrats are idiot liberals. Now, they're not all of them. I mean, there's a few that still have the forethought and foresight to be more like a JFK Democrat. They're not all liberal, socialist, communist nut jobs, but they seem to forget very easily. And who is it? There, I think Hannity had a person on his program yesterday. I didn't hear the whole thing, so I couldn't even remember get the name of the person that he was talking to. But he was talking about how Obama interfered with Bibi's reelection, Netanyahu in Israel. Yeah, I guess they forgot about him interfering in that. I guess they forgot about Obama actually flying over to didn't he fly to England to try to convince the English people not to Brexit? Is that a little bit of interfering with the inside politics and policies of another country? I guess they forgot about that too. Guess they all forgot about that. Which is why they're now free to think they're free to say, well, you know, Putin in how the hell could Putin actually interfere? Oh, by what? By releasing and telling us the truth? Let's just say Putin was involved in hacking the emails. Guess what he did? He found out the truth. He got proof of the things that a lot of people were saying and accusing Hillary and other Democrats of doing all along, but they couldn't get the proof. They got the emails and they found the proof. So if anything, if Putin was involved, he's guilty of showing the American people just how corrupt the left is. Now you got to understand the reason why. See, Putin is basically of the same cloth as many in the left. They want communism. Putin likes communism. He comes from communism. He doesn't have a problem with communism. But the thing is that Putin actually doesn't like all this government corruption and globalism. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want it. He's not a globalist. He believes in nationality. He believes in national pride. He doesn't believe in, citizen of the world crap. So that's where he parts with them. And he doesn't believe in the kind of corruption. I know it's hard to believe, because communism is corruption personified anyway. But it's hard to believe that he doesn't like their form of corruption. And he doesn't. And basically all he did was, if he was involved, all he did was show the American people, hey, look, here's the proof that you were looking for, that Hillary, the Clintons, the Democrats are a corrupt bunch of people. Now, if anything, you got to understand, there is a balance in the world. Yeah, the military balance of power, put that aside. There's another type of balance in the world. And America is a part of that balance. And if you totally flip this country into something that it was not meant to be, you're going to disrupt that world balance. And believe it or not, disrupting that type of balance could lead to world war. Whenever there's an imbalance in the world, it leads to war. Look at the Middle East. There's an imbalance going on in that section, in that part of the world. It's a huge imbalance. No, I mean, it's been unbalanced for decades now, probably centuries. But it has come to a head. The whole area is on fire. And Putin understands this. Putin is not afraid of war, but he's not a warmonger. He doesn't want it. He will go to war if he's forced to, and he has and feels that he has to. Yeah, he'll do that. Unlike, some of our liberals. China's the same way. China doesn't want to go to war. Sure, they want to take over the entire, Asian continent and everything in the East, but they don't want to have to do it by war necessarily. But if they're forced to do so in order to get what they want, they'll do it. We seem to have the only administration on the planet right now that's saying, no, we're just going to avoid war at any cost. We don't want war unless somehow it's going to keep us in power. Not going to war to protect us and our way of life, but to keep them in power. That's the way that our left, liberalist, socialists like to handle war. For their own safety in power. That's the kind of corruption that Putin evidently doesn't like. And that's the kind of corruption that if he was involved, he just exposed and gave us. I don't know about you, but I'm okay with that.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something, Snowflake.
You got to understand how the liberal mind operates and how the liberals out there operate. And I have come to, unfortunately, to fully understand how they operate. Does it scare me? Not really. But is it enough to always keep my guard up? Yeah. I don't think you can never let your guard down with these people. You never really can. Just like you can never let your guard down against your personal finances. Look, there's a big change coming. You know, we just saw that the Fed raised their rates, and there's no reason for them. There is actually no reason for them to do it other than to screw around with with Trump, and as well as to boost Obama's legacy. We raised rates because the economy is doing such gangbusters. Well, it's not. But it is a calculated move by some of these moneyed liberals on this issue. And, the reason why they're saying it is because, the stock market is going up too fast because of Trump. The dollar is jumping through the roof. I mean, it's just dollar is jumping up in value. Ever since this sort of thing didn't happen when Obama got elected. Twice, either time. But this sort of thing is happening now. So it just goes to show that the economy could be on the upswing. It probably will be on the upswing. But before we get to that point, a lot of people are still in financial straits. They may have a tough time making ends meet, or maybe they're just spending a little too much this holiday season because, a lot of people are feeling good. After the election, they're feeling good. Their spirits are up because of Trump being the president-elect. They like that. So they might spend a little bit more. But those bills, for most of us, are going to come due in January and February, and we get the credit card bills that we spent probably a little too much. So if you're going to need a way to pay that off a little bit, or at least faster, or maybe you just need some extra cash because you're feeling good enough that you want to go on vacation someplace nice, in the spring or the summer, then one way for you to get that extra cash is to drive with Uber. And a lot of people, thousands of your fellow citizens are out there doing Uber successfully. We're working as little or as much as they want. Part-timers are reporting earning incomes of $1,000 or more. And some of them are doing that on a weekly basis. And there are other Ubers out there who are doing it full-time that are reporting earning $50,000 or more per year. And some are even reporting that they're earning over six figures, over $100,000 a year, driving with Uber. All you need is a car. And that car, you can drive with Uber and get that car to pay for itself, pay for that monthly note that you got to pay in the car. Driving a car with Uber will also help you pay for all the gas that you use the entire month. It'll help you pay for the insurance that you got to pay for on that car every month. And if you do it right, it'll even pay for some of those credit card bills that you'll have coming due in January and February. Or you might find a new career. There's a woman out in, where did I see this? She's in Chicago, I believe. She's not a taxi service. She's an Uber service. She's done so well that she's bought more cars and hired other drivers to drive for Uber. You can do that. Make a business out of it. She does 7 figures a year on Uber. Now, will most people earn 6 or 7 figures? No. But will you earn a decent part-time income, probably earning more per hour than you can if you went to work at McDonald's or some other part-time job? Yes. Will it be more flexible because you get to decide when you drive and when you don't drive? Yes. Are there bonuses available just for signing up or just for driving? Yes. In order to find out all that information, get the details, just go to rodeccles.net/Uber. And you'll be able to find, that'll lead you to all the information, answer all your questions that you ever want answered about driving with Uber. A lot of people have a lot of fun. And there are some people that have turned Uber from a part-time job into a full-time job. Why? Because they make more money driving for Uber than they did at their full-time job. So find out, rodeccles.net/Uber. See if it works for you. Check it out big time. In any case, we're now at that part of the program where we like to play, what? A Christmas song. Yes. Here we have The Chrysalis Brothers, this is a throwback classic from last year, doing their version of White Christmas. It's ChrysalisBrothers.com. It's CHRISAGIS Brothers.com. And their rendition of White Christmas.
Just a bare tree, the leaves have all fallen as it waits for the winter to come. Once completely in bloom, now it stands like a tomb. Spring is over and winter's begun. But the darkening skies hasten the snowfall. Soon the tree is a splendor of white, and the one that was bare, now a masterpiece there. What was dead again sparkles with light. Oh Lord, let this be a white Christmas. Let the snow gently cover my soul. Take away all the pain, all the blemish and stain, and this broken heart, please make it whole. Lord, let this be a white Christmas. Let your blood cleanse this one that's filled with sin. Oh Lord, let this be a white Christmas. Make me pure now, without and within. Like a tree, Lord, I come with no blossoms, only promise and hope deep inside. No leaves and no fruit, but that seed's taking root, and I know that you're here by my side. How I know of your work done on Calvary, and the blood that was shed just for me. So please cover my night, making everything white. Let the cross become my Christmas.
The Chrysalis Brothers in their rendition of White Christmas. And somebody asked me to play this song again. And you know what? I think maybe I'm just going to tease you with it a little bit there. But we will play that version of Mary, Did You Know Again. Just a little sorry. I'm not sorry, really, but there you go. They're probably they're gonna be mad at me now. Oh well. Well, you have to tune in again. I promise you it will be played again. Hey, don't forget that next week is, along with the big announcement, we also have Rev Rod's is going to grace the Bunker Eye studio in order to deliver his Christmas message. Can't wait to hear what he has to say next week on that. And tomorrow, of course, is obviously Freedom Friday, which has a special meaning tomorrow because it is the last Friday show of the year. And because next Friday we will be off, so we'll do Freedom Friday on Thursday, but that'll be a special edition, holiday edition of the Rod Eccles Show. You're not going to want to miss that next Thursday. All next week is going to be special. It's going to be special, so you're going to want to be here. Hillary Clinton and the Democrats are trying to say that, Putin is involved in all of this WikiLeaks leaking and stuff. But we have an exclusive, and this is coming from the Daily Mail, a British publication. You always got to go across the pond. Go across the pond to get some real stuff here. Real information, real news, non-fake news. I don't understand why the media, the mainstream media here, doesn't get it. We're not limited to just them anymore. We're not limited to NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, and we're not limited to New York Times, LA Times, Chicago Sun-Times, and all that kind of stuff. We're wide open to information from around the globe. Not just here. Daily Mail, ex-British ambassador who is now a WikiLeaks operative, claims Russia did not provide Clinton emails. They were handed over to him in a D.C. park by an intermediary within the Democrat Party who was disgusted with the Democrats, and he became a Democratic whistleblower. Craig Murray, former British ambassador to Uzbekistan, and is currently associate of Julian Assange, told the Daily Mail that he flew to Washington, D.C. for the emails. He claims that he had a clandestine handoff in a wooded area near American University with one of the email sources. The leaker's motivation was discussed at the corruption of the Clinton Foundation and the tilting of the primary election playing field against Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I guess all that election fraud and interfering here in the U.S. during the primary, the liberals forgot about that too, didn't they? What they did to Bernie? Isn't that why Wasserman Schultz quit? Because they got found out? Yeah, that's why she quit. Murray says the source had legal access to the information. The documents came from inside leaks, not hacks. Regardless of whether or not the Russians hacked into the DNC, the documents WikiLeaks published did not come from that, the former ambassador insists. Now, Murray is, of course, a controversial figure who was relieved of his post as British ambassador amid allegations of misconduct, but is close to WikiLeaks. Yeah, he was summarily dismissed because of his association with Assange and WikiLeaks. He was probably handing WikiLeaks too much information about British politics. Well, there you have it. This the WikiLeaks stuff didn't come from Russian hacks. It came from inside if they ever find out who did it, I'm sure that poor soul is not going to be long for this world. If they already didn't find out, and he is already among the deceased. And not to mention, here we are, the liberals are talking about all this hacking going on and how horrible the hacking is. The Georgia Secretary of State says the cyber hacks have been traced to the Department of Homeland Security. And who's in charge of the Department of Homeland Security? Well, yeah, Barack Hussein Obama. He's the president, not Putin, not Trump. The Georgia Secretary of State's office now confirms that there were not just one, but 10 separate cyber attacks on its network, and they were all traced back to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Trace back to Homeland DHS security addresses. He said we're being told something that they think they have figured it out, yet nobody's really showed us how this happened. We need to know. And Department of Homeland Security is saying, well, yeah, this came from this one employee, and it's the way his computer and the software was configured. Made it look like a hack. No, your computer configuration and the software that you have does not try to accidentally hack something. You have to try to hack it. You have to try to figure out a way around the firewall. Your software, your everyday software in your computer is not going to be configured to do that for you. We're talking 10 separate incidents here. How much information did they need from the Georgia State Secretary of State that they had to go back to that site at least 10 times? And yet we're told, it was just an accident. Well, I guess maybe the Russian hacks, if they were true, maybe they were just an accident too. They were just trying to access, their computers were misconstrued. Their computers were just, badly configured, and it was just an accident. They weren't really trying to hack anything. But I guess, see how short liberals' memories really are? I guess they really, 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 really did forget about this stuff. And they expected us to forget, too. Well, guess what? Nobody forgot. We'll be back to wrap it up.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Once upon a time, old Scrooge sat down before the fire. Humbug. His glance happened to rest upon a bell. With great astonishment, this bell began to swing, as did every bell in the house. Without a pause, Molly's ghost came on through the heavy door and passed into the room before his eyes.
Who are you? What do you want with me?
I am here to warn you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather not.
Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second the next night at the same hour. And the third upon the next night.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with?
To read A Christmas Carol and other books online, go to www.read.gov. Explore new worlds. Read. Yeah! Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
One of the the unfortunate things about all this hacking stuff is other people will come out and say that they were hacked too. And lo and behold, Lindsey Graham is out there saying that he got hacked by the Russians as well. Now, I don't know how Lindsey knows. He doesn't have any proof either. He just assumes that the Russians did it because, how else could he not have won the nomination? The Russians kept him out of it, right? Did Lindsey Graham have anything worth hacking? No. How did Podesta get hacked and how did the rest of them get hacked? They didn't get hacked. Podesta lost his cell phone. And on that cell phone, he probably had, all the information needed to get into all those different accounts. And he didn't do what most people don't do, that they should do when they lose something important like that, is he didn't change any of his passwords. So somebody else had all the passwords and were able to see everything and just take and get everything that they wanted to get without anybody even knowing it. So there's no hacking involved. He just was an idiot and lost his phone. You just can't help when people are this stupid. But obviously, Podesta, who knows? Well, it didn't. Maybe that happened with Lindsey too when Trump gave out his cell phone number. Remember that? Yeah, here's Lindsey's cell phone number. Call Lindsey. And then he did that YouTube little video stint that went viral that showed him destroying his cell phone. But he's out there now suggesting and saying that he got hacked by the wonderful Russians. None of this is true, by the way. None of this is true. So Graham didn't get hacked by Russians. I don't believe that. Anyway. Oh, by the way, you missed it today. The California professor. There's so much stuff that we didn't get today that was in the paper pile. I'll have to carry some of this over till tomorrow, because tomorrow is Freedom Friday. Just about anything goes. We also didn't talk about the Ohio stabber being a refugee, a Somali refugee. A record number of refugees are entering the USA from Somalia, by the way, thanks to Mr. Obama. And that refugees all over the world, the eastern or western world, are causing havoc. So much so that places like Rome and Sweden may be on the verge of internal war. Not civil war, just internal war, as it were. But with that, unfortunately, here comes that sound. Yes, indeed. We are done for today. We are done for today, unfortunately. But we'll be back here again tomorrow for Freedom Friday. Just about anything goes. Just keep it clean, please. So until then, I want you to have a very wonderful Thursday afternoon. I'm going to go try to either get a new phone or get this phone fixed and fix some other stuff that's gone wrong this morning electronically. Until then, I am going to have to leave you. So we'll see you again in 21 hours. Thanks for listening. I'm Rod Eccles. This is The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.